I was watching this documentary today, the new James Fox documentary. Jamie, he's coming on next week. It's a new James Fox documentary about a UFO landing in Brazil in 1996. Holy shit, it's incredible. I had no idea that there's a city called Varginha in Brazil, and in 1996, according to everyone who was there, according to medical records of people who were there, according to they blocked off, the military came in, cordoned off the area, they recovered a crashed UFO, and there was living creatures that people came in contact with, and one of them was this tiny little thing that this guy carried, and he carried it to wherever they were going to examine it. And when he carried it, he got whatever was on its skin. It had like a slippery kind of skin. It got into his body and infected him. And he wound up with this horrible general infection. And he wound up dying. His body shut down. His immune system shut down. His body didn't know what the fuck to do with this alien thing that he was interacting with. And there's real records of this guy contacting this thing, grabbing it, carrying it in. All these people witnessed it, and then this guy winds up with this insane infection shortly thereafterwards. That's all documented too, all of his medical records.
I find it more fascinating that there are groups of people that don't believe these stories. That this is a fascinating. I mean, you got to be an idiot to believe.
But this one's particularly fascinating.
But the bubble that we live in, where you have not witnessed I'm talking about you being somebody who's listening here, because you haven't seen a spaceship, because you haven't been abducted, because you didn't read this story, to just convince yourself that it doesn't exist.
Yes.
And to shit on somebody else who has facts, like you got to tune in to listen to that episode.
Well, unless it happens to you, how the fuck could you ever believe that? Right?
Really?
I mean,
really?
Yes, you could. But I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? From a pessimist or a cynic's point of view, like, well, why would you? Come on, that's nonsense.
Because it's ridiculous to believe
that.
But
it hasn't happened to you. See, if it hasn't happened to you, you think it's not possible. Like, you
You're
can only
born.
relate.
The fact that you were born and you had children and you are living here and just functioning and living in this.
Crazy.
This is fucking nuts.
Yeah, this is nuts.
This is nuts.
Yeah.
But this is accepted. Why is this any nuttier or less nuttier than believing that we are just this little dot?
Yeah.
That this doesn't exist other places, and they have the facility to make their way here from time to time.
It's just a lack of irrefutable evidence. There's a lack of something where everybody could point to it. Like if you say, I believe in the Golden Gate Bridge, I'm like, get the fuck out of here, Howard. It's not a bridge across the ocean. That's so stupid. How would they even do that? And then you take me to the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm like, holy shit, it's a real thing. I see it. But if I had no idea what it was and you were just explaining it to me, maybe I'm a moron. I'm like, I don't believe it. I never saw a bridge.
I've seen a UFO.
But have you really?
Yeah.
What'd you see?
I saw, and I was with my wife, and it was right there. I was driving. I was in Toronto. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I was in my 20s, and we were driving down a country road, and I thought, oh my God, there's a giant accident way up ahead, because I saw this line of like a half a mile wide of all these flashing lights. So I thought there was like a lineup of ambulances or first responders or whatever. And as I got closer and closer, that whole line of lights, quicker than I can fathom, just shot into the sky and disappeared. And I turned to my wife and I go, did you, I saw something. Did you see something? She goes, the lights? And I go, yeah. And we've never seen anything since. We went, this is way before the internet, but we called the airport. We called the military. Has there been any reports? We didn't see anything on the news, but we both saw it.
What could you describe the lights?
A straight line of lights that looked like they were probably, a quarter of a mile wide. Like this was a giant line of lights. So I thought there was all cars lined up, on a road. We were there was no street lights or anything. It was when I realized what it was probably about 30 or 40 feet above the road. When I think about where I first saw the lights, they couldn't be on top of a car because there's no car that stands that high, or trucks or a train. And then the point was that how fast that I saw, how quickly I saw this line of lights just shoot into the atmosphere and disappear. Like I've never seen anything move at that velocity.
How far away was it when it shot away?
See, because it was night, it could have been 10 miles. It could have been 1 mile. I don't know how big it was because I didn't actually see the object. I saw a line of lights. So I
Right.
don't know how far I was from the lights. But I do know, if you called my wife right now, she would describe the exact same thing. She was sitting in the car with me. We're both not, UFO enthusiasts. I don't know that I didn't have a non-belief. I just never thought of it. We saw this weird thing that has never been explained to us. I think it would be ignorant of me to not think that this was something beyond our scope as far as what we have on Earth. So I've seen that. And I've read a lot, like you have, of other people who are seemingly trustworthy, educated people who have seen similar things, who've had, it's not always just the kook in the cornfield said, I saw a UFO. There are people in science, educated
Yes.
people who have seen it. So
Fighter pilots.
commercial pilots.
Did you see the most recent one? There was a woman who was a model who was on a plane. Did you see that, Jamie? It just got released today. She got what they're calling some of the most compelling UFO video ever. She's flying in a plane in this silver thing. They freeze framed it. It looks like a flying disc.
A model saw this?
A model. She's just